Good morning, guys, and welcome back to Island Tea right here on Win Media SKN with your faves, Kevin and Azem, featuring Jade.
I'm a fave too.
Jade.
I'm a fave too. That's all I'm gonna say.
You know what? Okay.
Thank you.
You could be a fave today.
That's okay. I'm a fave every day.
But you know who's an actual fave?
Yes, an actual fave.
Right here in the studio with us, we have a very special guest. I'm very excited to have this conversation this morning. Miss Natasha Grey is in the studio with us. Good morning.
Good morning, Azem. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Now that I'm even doing better now that you're here.
Okay, and what about having Jade next to you? How does that make you feel?
I don't really discuss my feelings.
Okay.
He's not a feelings person. Don't mind him.
I mean, I felt something at time, you know. I tell you, I think it might have been.
Yes.
No, maybe 3 or 4, maybe 7 years ago when I felt something, and I didn't like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Miss Grey, how are you today?
I'm good. It's the start of a new week, so I need to look forward to all the expectations and opportunities that will present itself before me. So I'm ready for whatever challenges are ahead this week.
Yeah.
Wow.
But guess what?
Wow, that was.
We're gonna start with just having some fun right here on Island Tea this morning.
I like fun too, so.
Yes. Yes. So I'm saying. All right. Well, I mean, we're going to be straightforward here and say that your name has been all around, whether it is in the news, whether it's social media, and there's been some announcements surrounding your name, and we'll definitely get to that. But for persons out there who may be curious to find out more about you outside of just what's been the announcements and thing lately, who is Natasha? And I know this is very vague and open, and it's like that for a reason, because I'm very curious to see exactly how you're going to answer it. But who is Natasha Grey?
Natasha Grey. I would say that I am a somewhat quiet individual. My quietness sometimes there gives a misconception that I am an introvert, but I am not. I grew up in Newtown, Pond Road to be exact. In fact, I have my office just 2 steps away from where I grew up. Someone who likes to have fun. I enjoy being with friends, family. I am a mother of a 23-year-old son. I enjoy having a good time. I like laughter. I like to see people laugh. I like to see people smile. I don't like to see people cry. In fact, that sometimes makes me emotional, but I think I'm growing out of that somewhat now. I don't know if it's my career, but not that I don't have emotions, but I think over time I have started to shed less tears.
I got you.
But I'm still the compassionate type person. I'm a community spirited individual. I get around in different groups. I have taken part in a number of committees within the East Basseterre community and also outside of the East Basseterre community. So I try to get myself, I indulge in a number of different aspects of life so that I can be familiarized with not just different persons, but different cultural events and different things that would kind of help me to become part of other person's life. So I try to not just think about myself, but I like to embrace what other people like to do.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. And I mean, this morning we were talking, and one of the things that came up in conversation was this this notion that we are really shaped by our environments. We are shaped by our experiences. And just listening to you just now, I kept hearing references to your community, East Basseterre, Newtown, to be specific. Um, what ways would you say, growing up in that community and your experiences there would have really helped to shape you into the woman that you've become?
But I came from humble beginnings. I grew up in a home that had, at one point, 14 of us, an extended family.
As people, right?
Yes.
Where privacy I go?
No time.
No privacy. You talk about having to put a mattress in the living room at nights. That is the type of environment I grew up in. And it helped me to be close to my family members. I learned a lot from my grandmother. She passed away in 2017. I learned all her cooking skills. I sometimes kind of think that I could cook.
Okay, what we doing Sunday?
Okay.
Okay.
We're going to toss it out of you.
And in that environment, you got to see different things. I just down the alley from where I lived, it was an unofficial rum house. I don't know if I would call it that.
We know what you mean.
Yeah, so I heard all the different background languages and the different types of expressions. And I grew up smelling weed. I grew up hearing the cursing. But all in all, I saw that people in the community looked out for one another. And you could have left your homes unattended and your neighbor would basically have your back.
Right.
And that is something that always stood out for me. And so it's not just persons who live in my immediate surroundings that I would like to give that same type of care and affection for, because I think my grandmother always opened up her home to other persons. And so sometimes even within the same home where we had 14 persons living and somebody was homeless for a night or two, we would find room, because that is who she is, and I think she rubbed off on me somewhat.
I big up Granny one time.
But nothing like them,
I love a Granny, bye. But it's really lovely to hear you talk about that dichotomy and between that people have. A lot of times we look at people and dismiss them based on one or two aspects of their character, aspects of their life, and things like that. Not really recognizing that this is a whole, right? And I think that these whole people make whole communities, and growing up in these communities really help to shape persons, like you alluded to, recognizing people from so many different backgrounds and being able to get something from them. I feel you could always pull something from people, no matter who they are, right?
Yeah, and I think that actually helps when you're going to certain fields. We're going to talk about it. We should probably start now because, time is limited. But you are now in the political arena, and I feel like sometimes there are politicians or aspiring politicians who don't have the experience because they don't have to grow up around certain things. They don't have to deal with certain people, so they don't have that personal touch when it comes to community aspects of politics, because politics isn't just you get elected and you make decisions. You have to be somebody that is out in the community, getting to know the community and the needs and wants. And because you are somebody who grew up around all types of people, you know how to talk to the different people in your community, especially a community like Newtown and East Basseterre, where it's so diverse. You get all types of people just in this one area. So I think being that you are now in the arena, this is going to really be a tool that will carry you so far.
But I'm curious as to, did she always have political aspirations?
That's a good question.
Or like, how did you end up in thing? And let's first of all stop skirting around, right? What we are speaking about is, Miss Grey, you have been announced as the candidate for East Basseterre for the People's Action Movement in the upcoming election.
Yes, I have, and I have had such a roller coaster over the past 3 weeks. I didn't anticipate so much love and overwhelming support.
Oh, that's
Of
awesome
course,
to hear.
there's the negativity, but that
That comes along with
I use that as a
territory.
learning curve. That's all.
And I would hope that that is significantly less than the support and the love that you would have gotten
Much
since the
less,
announcement.
much
See,
less.
awesome. But yeah, how did that come about? Like I said, did you always have political aspirations? Did someone approach you? How did that happen?
Well, again, my grandmother. So my mother's alive too, just so that you know, and she was very involved in my life. But my grandmother, I guess, as she was the, head of the household, and she loved politics. She went from cooking food for the People's Action Movement, selling, working on voters lists, going to political activities, and she always took me with her. So I think I learned a lot about the political way of life through her. But it wasn't until maybe during my high school years when I one day thought, like, okay, I can enter into politics. When I was smaller, I saw how, the joys of politics made my grandmother feel, and I always wanted to put a smile on people's face. So I always looked at that. But I think more in high school, I officially kind of said, well, I think I can be a politician. I started doing active political work from around 18, 19. My first election, I actually worked with Vernon Vera. I was an inside polling agent for him. I've been working the voters lists. I was actively involved in the campaigns for Glenroy Blanchett. I had executive positions on the East Basseterre executive. I also was very instrumental in the victory for Ian Patches Liburd, the ambassador Ian Patches Liburd in 2015. I worked along Jonelle Powell. I've held positions in the People's Action Movement, such as the Deputy Chair of the People's Action Movement, the Treasurer, Assistant General Secretary. I'm now the General Secretary. And in fact, even when I came back from studies in 2012, I was approached to be the candidate back then for the 2015 election.
Oh, wow.
Right. At that point, I wanted to say yes. I wanted to say yes, but I was like, oh my gosh, I just came back from studying. That was like 2 months or so after returning. Yeah. There is that student loan looking at me like, oh my. And then, my son, I had just come back, so I had to deal with him as a full-time mom now. Right. Can I handle both of them? I think I could have had I made that decision. But I said, you know what? Let me defer it. I can give my support to whoever the candidate is, which at that time was Ambassador Ian Patches Liburd, and I would give my support to him and do what I can do to ensure that he was elected. And I would wait until a later time, and I think this is the later time.
Well, nothing happened before your time,
Not at all.
That is so true.
Yeah, and things happen when they're supposed to. And now is the time, because here we are. Yeah. Here we are. You're talking to LNT as the candidate.
No turning back now.
No turning back.
You just have to see it through.
Yes, and I am up for it, regardless of what challenges I face. I am in it with 150%, and I think I have a good support team, and I look forward to that support team building, so that come the next general elections, I can see my way down to Church Street.
Indeed.
Yes.
Boom bang.
You know what I really like about the candidates for East Basseterre? The relationship you guys have. Like, I feel like it's time for us to see candidates that are not doing this whole, what do they call it?
Tribal war.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it is time for some fresh air, for us to come up and breathe and touch grass and realize that people can go up against each other because they have the best interest of a community and not be enemies, not be like, being, I'm so happy. Like I feel better about this already.
Some people don't agree with you though.
I don't care. That's usual.
But you're gonna always get people who support the status quo and the way things are done.
There's no good explanation or good reasoning for you to tell me, oh, they have to be beefing, they have to hate each other for. No, they're supposed to have the best interest of the community at heart. That's what brings them here.
They might differ on
political views.
But that don't mean they have to be doing all the extraness. Like,
in fact, for all the elections that I've worked at polling, I worked polling one, which is there by the Catholic school. Jeffrey has always been there. Well, Honorable Jeffrey Haney, he has always been there as the Labour opponent. So we have worked elections together on opposite sides.
Right.
And I intend to continue it on opposite sides, and then he would congratulate me and say, well done.
Yeah.
Congratulations on your victory. I know he would.
You could just imagine the jokes there. You could just imagine the jokes between the funny banter between the two of them. Like,
oh, my, I could imagine.
It's such a breath of fresh air. I hope other political candidates
could follow suit.
Yes, I hope this is a trend that they pick up, because they pick up all the bad habits here. I hope this one is one that sticks and we continue to see the positive light of politics.
I don't intend to get negative or carry on into any character assassinations or anything like that. I intend to focus on the issues, and I look forward to debates between him and I.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's something that I think is lacking in our society.
it definitely is.
Once he's up for it, I'm ready.
Yes, I feel like we do need that aspect.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, the truth is that I am very curious. Jade is intimately familiar with that area.
Yes.
I spent a lot of
my home.
I spent a lot of my formative years there. Going to Newton School, having a lot of friends there and that kind of thing. But I'm curious as to what are some of the areas of focus for you and your campaign. Some of the ways that you feel, or some of the things that you think need to happen in the community, and perhaps what you intend to do to help and uplift the lives of the people of the community.
I think, firstly, all the different areas, we need to develop like community councils, so that persons can come together, discuss the issues affecting the different communities in East Basseterre, because what may affect Frigate Bay and Bird Rock may not necessarily affect George Street and Taylor's. And I think we need to get some councillors or some sort of group within the community to directly deal with every local issue within each little pocket. That is something that I would wish to see happen even before I'm elected. But if it's not done then that is something that I would wish to pursue. The East Basseterre community is a mixed community in terms of culture, diversity. We have...
I think it might be one of the most diverse communities, to be quite honest.
We have from the Spanish community, we have the Indian community, we have persons who are returning nationals, and so we have a number of different walks of life mixed up in one pot. And I think we need to be able to give all of them the opportunity to express themselves and live their culture, live their way of life. And so I want to be able to develop a platform whereby persons can basically showcase their talent, showcase their skills, and also use that to uplift those who do not have the necessary opportunities to do so. Because yes, there are some persons who are not as fortunate as others within the East Basseterre community, and I want to see that aspect of poverty eradicated, whether it is through jobs or different opportunities within the business field, in terms of giving persons the way to carry out their own business. I know there are many programs right now that the government would have implemented whereby persons can get loans and grants, but some persons may not have taken that advantage or taken that opportunity for one reason or the other. And maybe they just need somebody to kind of show them exactly what it is they need to showcase, give them a little bit a push. And I want us to have like a center whereby we can help persons advance their skills. A center for not just persons within the Newtown area, but also persons from in the Frigate Bay and Bird Rock area, so that they too may be able to help everyone within the community. And East Basseterre can be a community that other persons, other constituencies basically look up to. We should be the model constituency.
So what I'm hearing from you is that you believe that one, representation is going to be key.
Yes.
Representation is going to be key for development. Also, entrepreneurship and business.
Yes.
Right. So I mean, to me, those are things that really speak to a situation that you're witnessing, right? When we start talking about entrepreneurship, when we start talking about representation, I'm hearing independence. I'm hearing self-sufficiency, self-sustainability. Those are the things that I think those programs that you witness, that you mentioned, really seek to encourage.
Yes.
Right? And I believe that those are things that are very much needed in not only in East Basseterre,
the country on a whole.
but the country on a whole, right? And so these are things that hopefully, and you know what is admirable as well. One of the things you mentioned just now, and people might take it as a small thing, but for me it's huge. When you mention that it could happen now. You don't have to wait until you get into position for it to happen. And I think that speaks to your heart. I think it speaks to
her intention.
the intention for the community. And them little things does mean a lot.
Yeah, because usually we hear politics talking about, oh, when I get in, this is what I'm going to do. As if things can't start. Like, if it's such a good initiative and it's going to help, why not just start it before? You don't have to wait till you get in to help, because you're not supposed to just want to help when you're actually in the position. It's supposed to start before. It's supposed to be, if I am supposed to be caring about this community and making sure it gets all it needs and it's developed in the way that I want to see it develop, just that. There's nothing stopping you.
There shouldn't be no holds barred. So there's like 3.5 years to election. Well, no one knows when it would call, but should I wait 3.5 years to basically want the best for East Basseterre?
No.
Or even a lot of times it feels almost like bribery or extortion.
Yeah,
like, you
I
want
only
these
do
things,
these
then
things
get
because
me in.
I'm elected.
If you want them, then put me in. You know, that kind of way. And and so that type of rhetoric has unfortunately been in for a long time, but it's quite refreshing to hear something different coming from you. I think that one of the talking points, and it might be unfortunate that it is, but it's just the reality, is the fact that you're a woman, and traditionally, although we have seen a few women in politics and have been successful at the polls, it is still not considered the norm, right? How has it been for you as a woman entering into the ring, and is that something you see as a positive, or something that you feel may be a bit of a drawback at the polls?
I think it is a positive. Why I say that is because sometimes we need that little finesse, a little soft touch. I'm not saying that males don't have that, but sometimes they could be a little rough around the edges. And you always hear people saying that behind every great man there's a great woman. Why can't we be in the front and to the side?
Speak.
Why do we always have to be behind them?
Preach. Hallelujah.
I mean, even in my party, you hear people say the women are the backbone of the party. Why can't we be the front bone?
We only good enough to help. We're not good enough to lead.
Stay out of my business. Stay out of my business. Cook. Go ahead, cook.
I mean, like,
so true.
People like Dame Constance Mitchell, I admire her. And I know I have very big shoes to fill if I am to walk in her footsteps. But even if I am just 50% of what she was as a politician, I think I would do great. And with women behind me and beside me, I think I would do marvelous. I don't think that some people look down on women. They think that we don't have the right to be in particular positions. I am part of a women's group, Civil, and in that group we encourage women to take part in active politics. In that group, it's not just a group for St. Stephen's, it's a regional group. And so they encourage, regardless of what political side you are on. So it's a mixture. We have persons from the Labour Party, persons from NRP, CCM, PLP, and PAM. So we encourage and support each other. We were so happy when there were so many women standing forward in Nevis as politicians. And so I hope that I'm not the only one, along with Minister Akila Byron. I hope there would be many other women, even if we don't have a 50% balance, although I think we should.
Yes, indeed.
I hope more women would step forward. I would just wait to see how many other women would offer themselves up for positions within their party, and hopefully their party accepts them.
Right. I think we're definitely seeing a shift over the last 5-10 years, particularly over the last 5 years in particular.
Yeah.
With involvement. Look, and like you mentioned, women have always been very much involved in politics, but the roles that we are seeing now, I think, is really necessary. To be honest, it's really necessary. Women in leadership, women as candidates, and yeah, like you said, I do believe that we're gonna have more and more women in all areas of politics.
I foresee it as well.
Yeah. Jade is now running.
No, I'm not. Did you hear this morning saying that I'm running to be leader of the Labour Party? Where would he put me in this?
I didn't see a post. I saw another woman, one of my colleagues.
Thank you. I don't know how he can be in there.
Your poster.
And you don't think Azim, come on. If I was going to be large,
I made a mistake.
my
I thought you were announcing. I thought you were
extravagant, okay?
I thought you were announcing it live on air, and then you would put out your.
Don't do that, friend.
So it was just a mistake.
You don't put me in them.
It was just a mistake. We all make them.
God bless you and the work you do, because that is not my ministry. I cannot do it. You are a special woman to be able to take on this country.
Yeah, that has to be broad.
Listen, okay? I can't do it.
You got anything you want to say to your haters?
I don't even know who they are.
Don't let them set you up.
No, because I know for a fact that what it is, right? When you put yourself out there, you don't only put yourself out there for applause. You put yourself out there for attacks. There's a target on your back as well, right?
And your family.
And oh my gosh, well, that is a whole other dynamic. And to be honest, I think that a lot of times there are people who consider stepping out and doing whatever it is, and that is the factor that may discourage them from doing that. But maybe that's something we should touch on just before we wrap up.
Yeah.
Like, how has your family been dealing with this? Do you have a full support there?
Well, and you know what? I think too, because you've been doing this for so long. You said since you were 18, 19. I feel like they expected it,
But Jade, it's one thing to be a candidate, that's a different thing,
Yeah, that is true.
That's a different kettle of fish there.
Boy.
Well, my parents are fully supportive of me. My mother is here in St. Kitts. My father is in the USA, but he encourages me daily via WhatsApp messages, and he ensures that I stay strong. I have a brother who many persons know, Mervyn Hanley. He has well, he has started to feel the brunt of my
dear.
of my announcement, but I know he can handle it.
back
So
right to man.
yeah, I'm not worried about him. I think he's more worried about me. But I am, although I may not seem to some persons as fierce and aggressive, I can take a lot.
Tell them, you know.
So I
Tell
can take a lot. As I said, I've seen some of the posts, whether it's fake profiles or not, but I'm
Not all
not.
expected.
Yeah,
Oh
I'm
my
not
gosh.
letting those things get to me. I'm staying focused. My
What's it-
son, he's not someone who is always out in the forefront when it comes to politics. He's a bit shy, but he has given me support in everything that I've done so far. In fact, I have a task ready for him. He's on vacation now, but as soon as he comes back, I have a task ready for him, and I know he would not say no. Else, I'll have to divorce him.
No. Watch out. When mom start pressing, you know.
That's all you got to
When mom
do.
start, let's pull the mom card. Say, hey.
Hey, remember.
But the love has been real. It has been. I have some friends, even from different political side, and the morning when I came out of the press conference, and I just had a look at my snap, and I saw my friends who support Labour have my picture up on their snap.
Of course.
And it was as if, this has nothing to do with politics. This is my friend.
That is exactly what it is.
And so I have been, I guess, blessed with the persons around me. Some persons may not be as genuine as you would like them to be, but I'm not going to let that deter me. I'm embracing everybody, whether they support PAM, Labour, PLP, whoever they support, because at the end of this, all I want is 50 plus 1. And so I can't afford to lose anyone, whether it is family or friends. I can't afford to lose anyone in this race, because you never know who you would need on that day. And so that is why it's always important to make sure, just like how persons are there for you, you are there for them. And I think that is going to be a deciding factor going forward, because it's not just about Natasha as a PAM, it's Natasha as an individual.
Right.
So I'm very happy for the support that I've been having so far, and I just love it, and I look forward to the years to come.
Watch out, Jade. You really should get a little bit emotional there, right?
No.
You should get a little emotional
That's
there, right?
fine.
No, but I'm gonna tell you something. You see, when people show up for you, and people are there for you, whether it's friends and family, like, that's very heartwarming, and I could just tell from the type of support that you've been getting, that is something that is going to help to propel you and to sustain you as you go through, the next few years, and hopefully few years until the next election, until the next election comes around. But unfortunately, as much as I would love to just sit here and talk to you all morning,
Yes.
because you have a very nice personality.
Why you feel so late?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think I may have felt something today.
Wow.
Also, where are you registered, Mr. Bailey? I think Jade is in constituency number 1.
Yes, I am.
Where are you
I'm
registered?
an 8.
Oh my! I need to get you to live in East Basseterre.
Find him a nice wife.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's
yeah.
all?
We can work on it.
And yeah, that's all. He just
She
needs
said
to
that's all. Like, that easy. I got about 3 girls right now.
well, since you have them in your pocket, we'll talk after the show about my potential husband, because as him don't.
Okay.
Yeah, as him don't need your help.
What? What you say, Jay?
Sorry, oh yeah, you need to. Oh, sorry. I'm back. My bad.
Come on. Like,
Sorry.
friends like these. Friends like these, man.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but it's been a real pleasure talking to you this morning and just getting to know you a little better. I would have be seeing your picture. You turned into a superstar overnight.
Overnight,
With the-
everywhere you went. Please don't do that.
I don't even know if I'm ready for that part of it.
Yeah.
Too late. It's too late. You're just everywhere I turn, I see your pictures.
Yeah, but the truth is, just be you. Like, I think that I think that authenticity and that organicness and your essence is all you need. Like you just be you. And I think people would I think that would resonate with people.
I agree.
I resonate with people, right? But again, thank you so much for joining us,
It was my pleasure.
And I'm sure we'll be talking to you again soon.
Sure, no problem. As soon as you're ready for me, call me and I'll just ask the judge for a little excuse.
Yes, we're on borrowed time.
Yeah, borrowed time.
Let's go over the courthouse, and she blessed us with her present. So let us let you go.
Let's wrap
back
quickly
to your your duties.
Thank you very much. And it was a pleasure being here, and I wish you guys a wonderful day.
Thank
All
you.
right,
You
thank
as
you.
well.
All right,
All
take
right.
care.
Well, guys, we are at the end of the show, and it's been a real pleasure talking to you